Previously,
So
with sylabdul.
with Gunn and Safran's contract, they're like in the lame duck year. Doesn't mean they're totally going to be fired, but it's clear that Netflix wants to have significant input on DC projects. You contrast that to DeLuca and Abdi. DeLuca and Abdi, their deal was going to be up in 2026. After this historic year for Warner Brothers, they got a multi-year extension on their contract, meaning the end of the contract is 2026 and you're adding multiple years on top of that. So DeLuca and Abdi will not be in a lame duck year. They're going to be focused on the theatrical side. Warner Brothers Pictures, New Line Cinema, Warner Brothers Animation, they got a huge Cat in the Hat film they're trying to do for WB Animation. And then what about DC? And do you need a Gunn and Safran there? It's possible, but also too, it's been well documented. Head of Netflix Films, Dan Lin, was actually going to be a DC architect years ago with her Justice League Mortal film that never was made. Dan Lin was going to architect a DC world that fell through mostly because of strikes and things like that. And then Christopher Nolan, his Batman exploded. You didn't want another Batman running around at that time. So will Dan Lin want input with DC? Because Netflix, as I said when it appeared Netflix won the bid, is that, okay, as far as my hopes of Snyderverse theatrical, I thought those chances were better with Paramount because of the Saudis, and you could do a big DC event on big screen. With Netflix, I still believe Zach could do more DC. It'll probably be more of a series or a streaming film. I'm not sure about theaters. Maybe you could have a short theatrical run. And again, we're just assuming he gets JO2, the Nightmare movie, or just Zach to finish the story. Likely that would just be on Netflix, right? If it happens. Superman emoji. Because I saw people taking this and they're like, like if you're in an English class and they say, what's the topic of this paragraph? Is it movies in general? Or it's first saying, thank you again for the followers. Then he gets into the topic, these DC characters. So this is the topic, this is the subject. They're a modern mythology, DC, not just films. And again, Zach said, people thinking like, he's deconstructing these characters. Exactly. I put a ton of reverence and respect to bringing these DC characters to life, and they resonate with you. That means the world to me. Here's to more stories together, more DC stories. Superman emoji. Okay, so get out of here. Those trying to be like, you just generalize. No, can you read? Do you understand the English language and how the paragraphs are structured? So it's very clear to me. And the title of the song, New Rules. We're criminals, Alfred. Nothing's changed. Okay. So shout out to the late great Mikey Sutton. Rogues. Now, Zach is talking about DC. Okay. Are there new rules? Is this Netflix still the new rules? Because like I said, I believe if Paramount would have won the deal, I think definitely something theatrical would have happened. If Netflix holds on, I still believe Zach would do DC. I'm not sure about the theatrical side. I'm just not, right? That's why, again, I favorite the Paramount deal. We're still a long ways to go with closing the deal. Can't really celebrate too soon with all this as far as just who's going to own Warner Brothers. But as far as Snyder fans, I think it's clear. We just want Zach to finish the story. Millie Alcott, she probably had like 3 or 4 moments in this trailer where I'm like, she's landing this, and she's going to sell this film. It's just how much is this film really going to make or attempt to make? I mean, that's always a conversation in the box office. especially now, again, Warner Brothers is about to be sold. The new owners very interested in DC specifically, and this film, has to perform right now. I had high expectations, and really just the James Gunn Superman, it got to a certain level. If I'm going to just guess right now, I don't think Supergirl is going to make as much as Superman, because when that first Superman teaser trailer came out, again, I was getting instant reactions from general audience, and they were tracking different tracking techniques that these companies use. And at times I get that information. So I was talking about that throughout. I was like, oh no, I was like, Superman, he's found his audience. Now, internationally, I can never guess again internationally, but you saw domestic, man. Superman did wonderful domestically, and in a couple other countries. And Supergirl, I wonder if she can even, reach those markets like that.
It's Coffee Talk with sylabdul. Give us a thumbs up and subscribe now.
Wake up in the morning, eyes crusty, heavy yawning. My phone keep going off, so I shut off the alarm and then head into the kitchen to get the coffee brewing. French roast with French vanilla, my own French revolution. Next movement is to tune into Coffee Talk with Sil. My girl starts to yap if I tell her she needs to chill. I hear enough of the yapping from all of these goofy shills. Plus I'm trying to be informed of whatever's the latest deal. For real.
And then this just continues on into Supergirl, which no one asked for this movie. I don't think it's going to do well. The early reactions are quite horrible. A lot of dislikes on YouTube. It's not looking good for the Gunverse right now. Sorry to all the bots out there.
It's I would say, and I'm probably the most I guess positive person with this, and
you definitely are.
I was looking forward to Supergirl. I made no bones about that. I was nervous about Superman just as a DC fan. I was like, is Gunn going to be goofy? It's right, the exact film, it's the exact film I thought that Gunn would do for Superman. You go into Supergirl, and the whole time I was like, oh, it's going to be a different director, writer. I'm a fan of Millie Alcock. I think she's going to be a star, and I still do. Seeing this trailer, she actually stands out to me. So I was like, she's nailing her lines in this. But this trailer starts off with Crypto peeing on Superman, and you gotta think this is a James Gunn note that he gave to the director.
It was absolutely a note. If someone, honestly, I watched this and I didn't even know that Gunn didn't direct this, which obviously, thinking about it, of course he didn't have time to direct it, but the entire movie, the entire tone, everything about it, the scenes, the direction, it looks like it had his fingerprints all over it. He was definitely all over those storyboards when it was come time to draw all of those. I guarantee you that.
And that's what makes me nervous about this film, is that because I was looking forward to, 2026 DC. If people are reading the comics, they're doing some great comic arcs right now. You got the Lego Batman game, you got some animated stuff. So I was like, DC is going to be great. We got through the Gunverse, right? 2025 was all James Gunn, Creature Commandos, Peacemaker, Superman, So I was like, that was what I was telling myself, that 2026 is going to be better. And then you start off with this, and I'm like,
For this, if this bombs, which it looks like it probably will, the director is going to have this blemish on his resume now. It's going to be harder for him to get jobs. Everyone's going to think, oh, this is your style. We don't want this for our movie or whatever.
Yeah. There's an argument online where people's like, well, Gunn didn't direct it, so you can't blame him. But Gunn is obviously the Feige of DC right now, right? So if Marvel looks bad, people always say, oh, Feige notes.
That's the blame. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think this is a fair, if people aren't liking again, some of the notes that Gunn is obviously pushing in on this, that's a fair criticism, is my point with that. But I still hope this director shines through. I still hope Millie Alcock shines through. She's
talented regardless. She has the Game of Thrones spinoff, House of the Dragon, on her resume, and she did a fantastic job, so she'll be fine. But this director, who I've never heard of, I feel strongly for him. Craig Gillespie is the director. He did I, Tonya.
with Margot Robbie, which that's where he gets most of his praise from. And you know, it actually is a good movie. He's good at like directing leading women, and I see he's making sure, you know, they look good, that she's on point. You know what I mean? So he's gonna bring that. It's just all the goofy stuff that's just probably making him do.
That's his signature. That's just they hired James Gunn. Everything that we've seen from the Gunverse has been with that same tone. Goofy, doesn't really take itself seriously. Some things really don't make sense. You know, the CGI is wonky. You know, it's not the best. You're not getting anything beautiful or cinematography worthy level like type things from anything from James Gunn. And I just want to go back into the first scene where we see Crypto peeing on Superman. Like, what was the point of that? Like, just for as a gag, just to laugh? It's just like James Gunn talks so much crap about loving Superman and heralding him as like this, like the superhero of superheroes, but meanwhile you keep undermining his character, right? Like we've seen all the like goofy takes in the Superman movie. Apparently he couldn't solve anything or beat anyone without any help, but he's supposed to be the mightiest superhero ever. And then here you have Crypto purposely peeing on his image. Is this how Gunn really feels about?
He wants to piss on Superman.
Like, what's the point? And it's just so disrespectful. And I think that's what a lot of fans have also been talking about online. Is just they look at this as disrespect to the greatest superhero.
And this is the thing, because like I said too, if you take James Gunn's Superman film as is, it was supposed to be like a kind of like a bond with Crypto and Superman in the film. So I'm like, why would he turn around and piss on him?
And this is supposed to take place after he was taken care of by Superman for that week or whatever, how many days he was babysitting.
So that's an odd posture right here. And then two, this director, this isn't even his style. He doesn't do potty jokes and stuff. He doesn't, you know, he doesn't.
I didn't see it, but all the trailers look pretty serious.
He's a serious director, right? And he did do the Cruella film. You know, so he could have some quirkiness, but not pee jokes and poop jokes. He's not that guy.
Very juvenile. Again, just I feel like I'm using the same adjectives over and over every time we talk about Gunn.
So when this trailer came out, I woke up that morning when this trailer came out. So this was the first thing I saw. And watching this trailer, this is a film, again, I've been looking forward to. And even though I like, again, the Millie Alcott, and I think the director is actually accomplished and effective, this was just like a meh, like it just, okay, the trailer happened. Like, it didn't move me. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's what I'm really worried about, is that it's just another, is DC just becoming, we're just doing just another film. Like,
yes, that's exactly what it is. That's what I've been saying since Superman came out. Like, these films are not going to have, if you're looking for something to move you, or a movie with soul, a film with soul, which is what we're used to getting, we're not getting that. We're getting cookie cutter, MCU-esque universe. That's what they paid for. That's what Gunn got hired for. Gunn learned that from Feige. They want him to be their Feige, right? But then his style doesn't really translate to something where the mainstream audiences want. They don't want goofy and campy. We've seen that in the box office. Regardless of what these loud people, minorities say, the minority voice says on Twitter or whatever, saying, oh, we want campy, goofy, bring back Adam West Batman. Like, no, speak for yourself. We don't want that crap. We got that in the 90s, right? With Batman.
They rejected it in the 90s too.
Exactly. This is not something people want. We want our characters to be taken seriously. The comic book medium is not what it was in like this 50s, 60s, where it is like kung pao, boom, whatever the hell. We don't have those things anymore. Like, we have serious stories. We want our medium to be taken seriously as comic book fans, and therefore so should their film counterparts.
Yeah, and I'm getting a little nervous about DC. And now again, I know people like you that thinks like you were already over this stuff.
Because I knew immediately, as soon as I saw the trailer and I see the tone of the movie, I'm like, oh, this is not for me. Like, this is for children. Like, this is garbage. Like, I don't want it.
So getting this, and again, me leaning on, okay, it's gonna be a different writer director. I just didn't compute that, Gunn could really, you know what I'm saying, insert stuff. So it's making me nervous for DC for this next year, because they had this Lanterns teaser that I don't have up, and it was just like,
I saw it this morning.
It's just a couple dudes, you know, walking down the street. That's the show. It's the whole show. It's like, what is
a lot of dirt roads.
It's like,
That's all I
bro,
remember.
like this is your first image. Like, are you trying to hype people to DC or like what?
Don't even get me started on Green Lantern. Like, that's supposed to be like the most magical show,
Cosmic.
amazing. Like, like seeing Green Lantern should be an experience.
Mhm.
It should kind of blow Star Wars out of the water because with all the projectiles and all that stuff, you're supposed to let your imagination run wild.
Right.
And we haven't seen that. That's why the Ryan Reynolds movie failed. And that's what this TV show is going to be laughed out of everyone's living room because it's like, what the hell is this? People are probably going to turn it on seeing, oh, a Green Lantern show. This should be cool. Turn it on. Why is it two dudes? Why is it this guy that's always on like those Fox 5 TV shows on who's that? That's Hal Jordan? Like, come on. Like,
not Fox 5. But it's like for real. I mean, it's a weird, again, coming out of James Gunn Superman, I'm like, okay, if this is like your level in DC and you're not going to do anything more, the spectacle is not going up.
no.
It's just staying right here or even going down.
Yeah.
From Superman, it's like, oh my goodness.
DC,
wow.
The thing that separated DC from Marvel, whereas Marvel were like street level heroes, DC had godlike superheroes. And that means like
Gods
cosmic
among
events,
men.
all kinds of like crazy, like you should almost have a spiritual experience watching these live action superheroes because that's how people felt when they're let's say you're in that universe where you see Superman in the sky, like, oh my God, there's like a freaking an alien coming. Like imagine if an alien came down, right? And then, you know, whatever happens, and you're like, your mind is running wild. Everything is like very mystic, right? Like that's what
Man of Steel.
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be about. And we're not getting that at all from this. And we've seen that Gunn prefers more street level heroes and villains just based on who he's decided to use.
More like character driven. And again, there could be a place for these character driven stories. Again, you know, I get that. But when you're doing DC, this is the point. Because Supergirl could end up actually being a decent film. Again, I think the director is good. It's just, it's going to be those Gunnisms that I didn't expect.
He has like no control. He's director in name only.
Exactly. So Gunn could come in and say, oh, put a joke in here. Yeah. You know, and he has
I don't like this shot. Do this one instead. Like, I know he was part of the whole storyboarding. Like, you can't tell me this whole movie, every shot by shot almost looks like it was shot by Gunn. So I'm 100% certain that he was part of the whole storyboard process.
Yeah. So that just makes me uncomfortable with this film. And then you have this Krypton moment where again
it looks like a poor man's ancient Greece or Rome.
Like with DC, we gotta feel something, okay? The opening sequence in Man of Steel, Krypton,
one of the greatest opening sequences of all time. I don't care any
greatest.
Yeah, no one can say anything about it.
I was in that theater opening day of Man of Steel, and I was like, "This could be the movie right here."
Yeah,
Russell Crowe.
Was like, I just want it here. Like, just keep this here.
Because I didn't really know Cavill then, right? I remember him in Count of Monte Cristo back then, but he grew up. I didn't really know. He had the flavor he ended up having. But opening up that film with Russell Crowe, I was like, "This is a movie right here. Just give me a Krypton movie."
It was
this here.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're trying to project here. It's very almost TV-esque.
I don't know. Them walking in those white cloths, it just seems so cult-like.
They got the Krypton coat. So, but then again, throughout the trailer, it's like the director, he's highlighting Millie Alcock, and she's great.
No, she's a very talented actress.
So it's like I'm just kind of torn with this, where I'm like, this could end up being a decent film, but the way they're presenting it, it may not really make that much money. I don't think
overall. This would be lucky to make Black Adam level type of money.
I agree with you on that, because before this trailer came out, I was like, oh, Supergirl's gonna feel different. It's gonna be, and it's like I can't say that anymore.
I think I've been saying since they announced this movie that it was not gonna do well. People like Superman. I wasn't even saying that to be cynical. Like I'm like being serious. Like having a good idea of what the mainstream audience is like. People know of Supergirl. They don't really know or care about her lore. She's just like a female Superman for the mainstream. We're not talking about comic readers, because they're a minority in the grand scheme of things.
Exactly.
Like gonna go if they didn't really like Superman, they're not gonna care to watch Supergirl.
That's the point right there. And it's like, because with Superman, again, with James Gunn Superman, whether people like the film or not, when that first teaser trailer came out last year for James Gunn Superman, it forced reactions from people because it's Superman, right?
Yeah.
Like
It's a
that's
cultural icon.
exactly.
He transcends culture because he's a global icon, really.
Yeah. So you were gonna, and that's why when people was like, "Oh, Superman's gonna bomb," I was like, I mean, I don't think it's gonna. Like I said, Black Adam is kind of level. Like I like Black Adam, but the money wasn't made with that.
Right.
And so if you do, less than Black Adam, it's trash.
Like if you're making Shazam 2 type money.
Exactly. So I knew Superman. I was like, okay, it's going to do more than Black Adam just by default.
Yeah,
it was going to do more
just
money. Now, again, it didn't match Man of Steel, but it's Superman. Now with Supergirl, because I remember again when the Superman trailer came out, I was getting instant reaction. These companies do like different ways to track general audience, and sometimes I get that data, and so I was talking about it in real time. People was like, "Oh, BS! No one likes Superman." I was like, "No, it's not about James Gunn. The brand Superman is going to sell." Just
the people don't really understand. Like somebody did a study of like the most popular symbols in the world, and obviously we have like Jesus the Cross, and some
Batman.
Batman. Superman is right there next to Jesus. Yeah. Believe it or not, he's right there. Everyone knows that S crest.
Yep, exactly. And so that was my only point with that. It wasn't that, oh, James Gunn gonna make a great film. It wasn't a great film. But having that brand, that Superman brand, you're gonna make some money off of that, right? Now you go to Supergirl, their one mission was to make Supergirl different from Superman, to make it very clear she's different. And it seems like just lip service in this trailer. Where again you have the imagery that a lot of people was like, oh, this is James Gunn imagery, and it's not really making it. Just like you're saying, oh, it's just a female Superman. That's not going to sell this,
right?
Now in the trailer she has some lines where she's like, oh, I'm different from Superman because he sees the good and I see the truth. Great tagline. Like with me in marketing, I'm like, yeah, I could sell a film with that, but you got to show it. And nothing in this trailer showed she's any different from Superman. She's just a female with a Superman costume. They barely show Lobo.
Likes to drink.
Exactly. Oh, it's like she her life is hard, but it's like that doesn't sell. No. That doesn't sell it to me. You have Lobo in this film. They barely showed him. You blink and you miss it. And it's like, okay, 'cause I thought they were going to really use that to sell it.
I thought so too.
They may end up doing that, but it's just this trailer was a miss. And this is, again, was looking forward to this film, and this came across as a miss. Now,
yeah. So I mean, coming into the trailer, I really had to. I learned to lower my expectations with this because I'm not gonna lie. I think we did a reaction for the release of the Superman trailer together, and like. I was excited, but it was missing something, but it was still enough. Here, what I like about it is, for one, the Supergirl we've always known is Melissa Benoist, and we've known her for a couple years now. And that version of Supergirl was done so well that I'm actually excited to see a different version of this Supergirl, because it's for decades now. Whenever we thought about Supergirl, we thought about the way that Melissa Benoist played her, which was, the sweetheart that, wants to save the world. This ain't that, and I'm excited with that because the same approach that, Gunn took with Superman, us having Henry Cavill and the greatness that he did as Superman, he went a different route. He kind of like changed how that Superman was going to be in David Cornsweet. And I see he's kind of taking that approach again with Millie Alcock as Supergirl. And to me, I enjoy that because now it's like almost reading a comic book. We're getting different versions of these characters, which they are doing the Woman of Tomorrow story or things of that storyline in this movie. So, and to be honest, and I know it'll show up here, but seeing Lobo, I honestly, the way Superman trailer came out, I didn't expect to even see Lobo in this teaser.
Right. Yeah, that was a nice surprise that he popped up there. And briefly, shout out to Music City Soul in the chat. The comments don't pop up on the screen here on Patreon, but we see you. We see you over there, so appreciate the support overall. And he said he was looking forward to the 2026 DC lineup. And not just DC, film, TV. I'm looking forward to the comics. Like they got some great stuff, in comics, animation coming up. So just overall, DC is going to be pretty hot next year. So, but yeah, with Supergirl, you raised a good point as far as the different style, and obviously you're going to have people already against this, if they don't like, DCU, right? So I'm gonna kind of sit that aside, because it's obvious, some people's motives, but and I respect everyone's opinion with this, but again, underwhelmed is probably a strong term for me for this trailer, because I like what I see with Millie Alcock. Again, she nails all her lines. I like seeing Lobo just briefly. And I just kind of wish they would, because the director, Craig Gillespie, he said he made an anti-hero film with Supergirl. And that's what I've been hearing all year. That's why I was really excited. I'm like, this is going to be my type of film, what they're about to do here. In this trailer, I felt it was just more like, hey, she's the female version of Superman. And it's like, that's not really, you know what I mean? I kind of, you have a chance to really differentiate her. Again, it was a nice line saying, Superman looks for the good, I see the truth. Great line. You could market this film with that, right? I wanted them to show that, not just because she has a couple drinks, that she's different from Superman. Like, I wanted to see her basically murk some people and be like, maybe I shouldn't have did that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I want to see. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say they played it, for me personally, they played it a little bit too safe, but this is the initial teaser, right? So for the most part, I like that's going to be probably a really emotional moment here. I think she's going to kill it. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think this is going to be a good film, but I always think of how you sell this stuff. And I'm like, I need to see, you need to show her being this, conflicted person, just in my opinion, right? Because you raised a good point as far as this isn't Melissa Benoist, right? This isn't CW. And that's fine, and that's based off the comic. I guess what's I don't want to dwell too much on the criticisms out there, but I see people I don't know if they're surprised that this is that this never was in the comics or something. Like, this is literally from the story.
To be fair, I'm honestly I'm kind of numb to a lot of the criticism at this point, because it's like some way or another someone's gonna find a way to not like something. So I always keep that mindset when I'm going in. And us for in general, we especially with DC right now, with all the comic book storylines, I've been it's been a library in my house of just straight nothing but DC comics. So seeing all the different storylines and stuff like that, and then actually being able to start seeing it on the big screen, as a little kid, man, this is what I wanted, and this is awesome to me. But one of the craziest things, and I guess kind of lazy things I saw was the whole it cuts to her having the headset on and she has a trench coat on, and then they're comparing her to Star-Lord, and I'm like, come on, guys, I can see where you're coming at, but come on. And yes, it is the director of Guardians of the Galaxy, but come on now, let's be real,
Well, and first I shout out to Music City. He's saying he wished they would have waited on the Lobo. Yeah, but it's kind of blink and you miss it. I think it wasn't a full reveal yet, so I think next full trailer, we'll get some Lobo action. And he said he liked that line about the difference between her and Superman. So good stuff there. So your first thing, Gunn, he is the Feige of this DC studios, so he's gonna have some input. Like you saw Crypto and peeing on the newspaper. Obviously, Gunn gave a note like, "Hey, this will get him," So I get that. The whole look of Supergirl again is straight from the Woman of Tomorrow comic, which so I definitely. Obviously there could be criticism, everyone can have their opinion with stuff, but it's just we're kind of going overboard with the, oh, it's Guardians of the Galaxy. Like that's the only film that could be in space. Though this comic was written before Guardians of the Galaxy movie, but okay, okay, just sometimes people just like with the Superman thing, they wanted to hold on to different stuff and not give it a chance. So that's fine. I mean, but I think what have you seen as far as feedback from the trailer? Because the usual suspects obviously don't like this. But one of the fairest things I saw is people, someone was saying, is it enough reach for Supergirl? Like, again, Superman was an event, and like, enough people care that there's a Supergirl film? And that's why I said I wish they would have leaned into her being so different, actually showing it, and they still have time to do that. But have you, on your part, have you seen just mostly negative or like a mixed thing, or what do you say?
I mean, to be honest, I know it's two different. Obviously, it's two different films. And stature wise, you kind of just touched on it with Superman. It felt like the world stopped for a day when that teaser trailer came out. And with Supergirl, I don't know if they're trying to prolong the hype for this film, because it is coming out next year, mid of next year. They don't want to give you everything right now, but it kind of felt like the trailer came and it's like we're hearing little things here and there, and like it's not as enormousized as the Superman trailer was. Mind you, again, like I understand that's Superman, it's a Supergirl, but still, I as this being quote unquote the second big DC project, like the movie, I was expecting kind of like how you said, like a roll of the red carpet to like, hey, this is the next, the next big thing. And I haven't really felt that. I mean, yeah, obviously there is the criticisms out there and stuff, and there is some who genuinely liked what they saw and they're excited, especially with the Lobo stuff. But yeah, I personally, again, as a DC fan, I kind of felt like, damn, the hype is I needed more, I needed a little bit more of that,
Yeah. And like I said, I think that's a fair thing, because again, we've been looking forward to this film, and I still think it's going to be a good film. Like what I've actually seen, like expectations is one thing. What we actually received, I'm like, oh, this probably gonna be a pretty good character-driven story, actually. And and I think it'll be enough action. Again, if they're following the comic, you're gonna have some pretty good moments. Again, they allude to the Crypto thing. If you read the comic, you kind of know what happens there with Crypto, and that's a brief Lobo. Again, blinking, you miss it. He just pops up there. Looks great just from a distance there, and can't wait to see them. Kind of really, flesh that out. yeah, because according to just what's being said, at first people were saying he's going to have a small role, which I think relatively he doesn't like top billing in this film. Jason Momoa is not, but I am hearing he's going to kind of be in there a little more than people thought. So so I'm looking forward to that. They definitely want to set up a Lobo project that's been long reported on, and so that's cool. Like I said, it's enough ingredients here for this film. I'm just tempering. Okay, is this going to make as much as Superman? I don't think so. But that shouldn't matter if you like something. But it's just I'm always thinking again, marketing and selling, and so it's going to be an uphill battle in my opinion. For this film.
Yeah, I mean, do you think once they do start rolling out all the prep and stuff for this film, the promos and stuff, they're gonna lean heavy on? That's why you show Lobo right now. They're gonna leave heavy on Jason Momoa, because I mean, we could say what we want about the last Aquaman films, but when he hits the theaters, I mean, he's a money guzzler. He brings in the money. So I mean, for me personally, I would kind of promote it around him a little bit, and then obviously Supergirl. But I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I look at it like, I don't want to say like missed opportunity. It's just, they probably should have leaned more into like a Supergirl Lobo like team up film.
Yeah.
Like then you really could sell Jason Momoa more. And again, this is hindsight because I think it's going to be again a decent film.
Yeah.
Again, how are they going to sell it? It's all about word of mouth, audience, reaction and things like that. So I think they're going to have enough there. It's just, again, I'm just tempering. But when you get the full trailer, I do, definitely expect to hear Lobo and I see like a brief exchange. And I think that will give it a little more pop. Because when I first watched the trailer, I didn't even realize Lobo was there. I had to rewatch it, and I was like, oh, he just kind of popped up right there. So I mean, overall, like I said, I thought some decent action at the end there as well, and I'm looking forward to it. It's just like you said, I'm just kind of tempering. I remember before Superman came out, people was like, "Oh, it's going to make $1 billion." I was like, "Oh, it's kind of chill out." Like I mean, people are going to show up for Superman for sure, but we got to kind of chill out a little bit with that. Music City in the check says they should add more to the marketing once they get rolling. Yeah, and I think probably like springtime, I think you're going to get a fuller trailer, and I think it's going to do what it do.
James Gunn was promising that he would facilitate a situation where directors could come in and he would let them do their thing, right? Mm-hmm. So I was genuinely happy about that. I mean, do I personally want him to be the steward of that? I mean, because any producer, any CEO or president of a company, whatever it might be, can claim to do that and do that to some extent, but they still have some input, right, on the universe. So did I want James Gunn to be that person specifically? Well, no, I didn't. However, if he was even going to attempt to allow other directors to bring their own voice to these movies, then I would have been like, okay, that's definitely a positive thing. But I actually feel like so far what we've seen, because like what we've seen so far is just projects from him.
Yeah, so the Gunverse.
Yeah, it's just all projects from him. And then now we're getting a project that isn't from him. And I don't think that my optimism was rewarded.
And that's fair. It's definitely fair because we have the teaser trailer.
It's funny as I'm watching Crypto pissing on Superman,
but literally pissing on Superman.
Yeah, but it's so fresh that I don't really know if I have totally. Honestly, like I haven't actually. If you notice, I haven't really been posting about it on Twitter. I haven't even retweeted much about it. I have retweeted a few things about it. I've liked a few things. I haven't really said anything about it. I've said some like generic phrases about the industry that definitely pertain to this movie, but I didn't really, make it explicit. But I guess I don't want to be caught lacking, I guess, like maybe something happens, right? But the thing is that, James Gunn seems to be doing what Feige was doing for the MCU, but, for this. And the thing is that even if James Gunn made it work, and what I mean by that is it was successful, right? Yeah. I don't think that it's good, for DC to essentially be copying the template of the. I think they need to succeed on their own merits, in my opinion.
Expound on that, just so we could be clear with people, because you feel okay. And I want to put words in your mouth with this Supergirl. Let's say there's elements you think that Gunn's reusing. Is that because that's one criticism I'm seeing about this trailer.
Well, let me tell you this. So in comparison to the Superman movie, this movie looks better, right? I definitely think that there's like, especially the scene when she's like flying up, through the atmosphere. That looked really cool.
Looks good.
Yeah, that looks good. And there's even a few scenes that like people are criticizing where she's like swinging that thing and hitting the people like in a circle, that I think looked kind of cool. Yeah, people were like criticizing that. I don't know why they were criticizing it per se. I guess, I don't know. Now, there's a lot of things to criticize about it, but that particular scene I didn't care for. And there's a scene where there's also other people, not in my circle per se, but there's a scene where she's kind of like crying, or she's kind of like, you know, in distress, and then you get like a close-up shot, and people are like, oh, this is depressing, or things like that. And I'm kind of like, man, don't turn me into a Supergirl stan. it's like don't make me.
Let me say, because, and I want to make it clear what I think about this too, just to kind of just, you know, get my side of this. I was anticipating, like I was saying before, I was anticipating this film. I was like, okay, this, again, Gunn's not writing it, not directing it. Now I do see his influence, but I think this is a good director. I like the lead in this, Millie Alcock. I think she has some good moments in the trailer. So, but the things that I would criticize, like I said, you see Gunn inserting himself. That's one thing. I'll get to the other one that I'm really harping on, but you mentioned some criticisms where I'm like, there's a few people reaching out there. Let me just kind of say that.
Of course.
Because there's things to criticize with this, and we hit on one of them, again, just with the influence of Gunn. But the few things that you mentioned there, I'm like, I don't have a problem with that, actually. The action or the flying, I think that actually looks okay.
Yeah. Even in the Superman movie, people criticize the flying. I think that there were moments in the flying, like in Superman, where I didn't like it. But there were other moments where it was fine, right? Or it was even okay or cool, even, you know. I think the action, like the way they kind of did, like, I don't know how to describe it per se, but they had this sort of rubber bandy effect where, you know, people were like getting swung around and the camera was kind of like, you know, and then it was cool. You know, I really enjoyed it. Like the scene in the field, was it a baseball field or something like that?
Yeah.
That was actually cool. You know, there was some parts in that scene that I thought was stupid, right? But I think that the action was kind of cool. And in this too, I think that the action is very cool. I mean, I wouldn't say it's like innovative or like transcendent or anything. It's not like, oh my god, like I cannot believe like this person's cooking, you know, but it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, because on first watch, and because what I've kind of started doing, I don't really do live trailer reactions. I do more of like, I've watched it, you've watched it, I'm just going to discuss, you know, what stands out to me. And so I always watch things just off camera. And when I happened to work the night before this trailer came out, so I woke up, first thing I saw, Supergirl trailer, and I was just like, okay, it exists. It was just, I wasn't moved. Again, the things that I like about it, I just happen to like about it. But like you said, it wasn't anything in this trailer that I'm like, oh, like, and this ain't even a fair comparison, but I'm just gonna make it. When we saw the BVS, the False Guide trailer for BVS, it moved people. You're like, whoa, like, you know,
it's like, what am I witnessing?
Exactly.
What am I beholding?
Watching Supergirl, it was just like, okay, I like, again, I'm a fan of Millie Alcock. I know people are gonna say I'm shilling for it, but it's like, I think she's can be a good star. I do believe that.
No,
so
I think that she plays, like, this is the thing. This is the thing. Okay, so it's funny because I won't go on this tangent now, but I'll tell you this after the stream. But let's just put it this way. I was watching this indie animation, very, very indie, like no one knows about it. Like his channel has like 9,000 subscribers on it. And I was moved watching this animation, very low budget, in like the same way that I was moved when I've seen Zack Snyder's work, like Man of Steel, BVS, like, and I'll send you the stuff afterwards so you can check us out. But the reason why I bring this up is because that can come from anyone. It can come anywhere, you know, at any time, right? Like that feeling you get when you see something really artistic and really beautiful.
It moves you.
It moves me, and it's like, this lines of dialogue that just stick with you, right? Like you hear it, and it's like, oh my, like that was profound, you know.
That's art. Like that's real art right there.
Yes, and you don't get a lot of opportunities to feel something that's profound, you know. And the thing about Gunn's franchise is that it's in so many ways capitalizing on the lack of profundity, on the irreverent nature of the way that the films are made, and how it pulls everything down, not to so much a relatable level, but I mean, it can do that. There are some things that are relatable about it, but it's like something to kind of snicker or kind of laugh at. You know, it's kind of like this to laugh at, you know, to be
Yeah.
kind of and I think that while that does broaden the audience, it really takes something away from it in the long term. And this is just more of that. Like, I could watch tons of these kinds of movies and nothing would change, be fine. But the thing that stings for a lot of us people who are criticizing it is the fact that we know and we felt this happening to movie after movie after movie. Like, it just no into it, you know? And it's in the context of that we're like, oh, great, another one of these.
And exactly, and I'm probably one of the more positive people about this Supergirl film, but I was not moved, you know, by it. Just like I said, it was just another movie. And for DC fans, we don't, we're not moved by just, factory type of films, just pressing out. Because I had a real cool conversation recently with.
Wait, just one second. So you're saying, as DC fans, like who are these DC fans? Like, you can't just I can't just let that slide. Like, DC fans absolutely will ask for that.
Okay, certain segments. Okay,
hey, so do what James Gunn said and say, I want this.
right. See, I broke James Gunn's rule. He's the daddy of DC right now, I guess. But I had a cool conversation. And when I say us DC fans, I mean the core, and obviously my platform, we love Zack Snyder's stuff. And, we a lot of us like Tim Burton's and Nolan. When DC is DC for real, right? Okay.
Yeah.
And then you got this cookie cutter stuff. And that's why I was saying I had a really cool conversation recently with VEGA, Il Divino VEGA, very, very active in the Snyder movement. And we was questioning the general cultural impact of James Gunn's Superman, or lack thereof. Man of Steel, Zack Snyder's Man of Steel, it's still relevant 12 years later. Will we be able to say that about James Gunn's Superman 10 years from now? Right. And I think that's a fair question. And that's why I say the difference of that art that you're talking about that moves you, Man of Steel, First Flight, that holds up very well.
Yes.
Over a decade later. Right.
What's the Flash scene where he's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
ZSGL, him.
Oh yeah, the Oscar moment, right? So it's like that holds up very well, right? And so, what in James Gunn's Superman really, even for people that likes the film, what really holds up? What's going to hold up, right? And that kind of puts that film, in my opinion, as like, okay, this is just kind of generic, lack of a better term, generic entertainment. Yeah. And so when you're watching the Supergirl trailer, it's like, man, I want to like aspects of this, but it feels like it's just another film that may be good, but it's just
I think film. there's two ways at least that you could talk about these movies. You can talk about them individually, right? Typically, most movies benefit from an isolated view, right? Because it's not trying to like fight upward against anything. It's not trying to like prove itself. It's not trying to make a social cultural statement about anything, right? So any movie typically benefits from an isolated view, which if you want to sound like even keeled and nuanced about it, you can do that, right? I think that's usually the least interesting way to talk about these movies. And the reason why we're together is because of social media and because of all this cultural, social elements, the connectedness of it all, right? And Supergirl is, what it represents to me is just a situation where nothing can succeed unless it's adding a drop to a bucket, right? So, like, for instance, Man of Steel, BVS, Zack Snyder Justice League are profound in and of themselves, and they happen to be made with the same person, right? But it's like I can come up with a devil's advocate argument for this, that like, oh, as long as the movie's okay, you get several okay movies, then they start being successful, and then the franchise can start putting more money into it, or maybe doing something that you think is more interesting or something like that, which is never the case. The more successful someone is, the more likely they are to not take risks, right? If you're not going to take a risk, you're never going to do it.
Just look at Marvel, right?
Yes.
Like first phase, and then Feige was like, "Oh, we sitting good. Now let's put out She-Hulk and put out all this other crap." It's like
exactly. So for people arguing like this is, if this is where we're starting, it's not going to get any better than this. It might get more expensive. You might be able to add more characters that are all like this together, and then there'll be like this feeling of like, oh, you know, this is like a culmination kind of thing. But you'll never get anything that's like profound or artistic in and of itself.
And that could be an argument if we didn't have Zack Snyder's run. Like, you could get away with that argument of saying, okay, this is just the beginning. But when we saw Man of Steel, and the scale was already up there with Man of Steel, you know what I'm saying? Like, by the time you get to the Smallville fight, you're like, in the beginning, the Krypton sequence, you're like, okay, this is another level we just haven't seen for Superman related projects, right? So it's not fair for any film after that. So when you start with James Gunn's Superman, you're like, okay, it's a nice character driven story. I'm not walking away like, you know, carrying something from James Gunn's Superman. It's just like, okay, it's entertainment, right? Like, you know, the kids like crypto. Like, I can still put it on, and you know, it's just something.
So have you seen what's this guy's Mads Mikkelsen is in this new movie called Dust Bunny.
Okay.
Have you seen the trailer for it?
No, I haven't.
Okay. So it's about this young girl who believes there are like monsters under her bed that have eaten her parents. And so she hires this contract killer to find the monster and kill the monster, right? And it's very fun. Okay. But here's the thing, right? And actually, I think I quote tweeted it on Twitter, and I'll have to find it. It might take me a minute to, because I've been tweeting so much recently. But here it is. Perfect. It wasn't that long ago. I said, this may seem like a weird tangent, but do you guys see how this movie feels fun, in quotes? But there aren't any jokes in the movie. It's also sincere. It isn't being irreverent. Why can't superhero movies be like this anymore? And when you watch this and you watch it side by side with like the Supergirl trailer, you'll understand like the energy, like the fun. It's weird. It is quirky. It's like odd, but they commit to it. And but it feels sincere. And I think that a lot of times, like, you know, especially when you start the trailer off with like, you know, a dog pissing on something, it's like, oh, okay, so you want to like, you know, the fun comes from like dragging something down, you know, or being like irreverent about something that was like that people care about, you know, like
like Superman, right? And that's why I was thinking when you brought up as far as the example you just said, I was thinking of the Bo DeMaio conversation that he threw out there. Now, most people in this space should know this is the guy that he was behind X-Men 97, a large part of the story. He's a very heavy comic influence creator. So he wants to adapt the comics directly, like from panel to screen, right? So I always respect him for that. He has different takes on different stuff, but he likes Zack Snyder stuff, so he gets points for that too. So and then it was a scandal with him, but we're not going to get into that, right? So the point, though, he raised a great point with, you know, why am I having, I don't want to say like an empty feeling with Supergirl, but it's just after James Gunn's Superman, then you got Supergirl, then you have that Lanterns lack of a teaser.
I didn't even watch that trailer. I didn't even watch it.
You didn't miss anything. You didn't. It just felt like more of like ho-hum character, you know, story. When I think of DC, Mike, and the audience, I want something epic, right? Because of the trajectory of Burton to Nolan to Snyder. DC has to be epic to me, right? And so Bo raises a good point here. Or
I think
profound, exactly.
Profound is it too, like profound drama, profound like you know, like you want the scale, like it needs to be profound in some way.
Yeah, I gotta feel something. I gotta walk away with something with DC, right? And so Bo says here, he's talking about Supergirl. He says, I genuinely want these films to succeed. A lot of talented artists put real work into them. As we've been the execs behind them, no one goes to work to fail. That said, there's always a setup. The early audience signals are concerning on Supergirl. Her trailer pulled 9.5 million views, nearly 30,000 dislikes in its first day. While Superman did 36 million views in 24 hours, around 21K dislikes over 6 months. The disparity isn't noise, it's a signal. To kind of wrap up his point here, though, and I want to get your thoughts on this, the emotional connection is what he's saying. Now, the initial thing I would say is, yeah, Superman is more well known than Supergirl. So I feel whether you like James Gunn's Superman or not, I saw instant reaction from normies from James Gunn's Superman because it's Superman, right? It warrants some kind of response. Supergirl, is an uphill battle to me. Even if the film is good, if Superman, with all that awareness, had a lower than expected box office return, no matter what people want to say about it, yes, it made 600 million, but it's still less than Man of Steel. Internationally, it was terrible, relatively. Supergirl probably won't get half of that if the emotional connection isn't there. Just in my opinion, what's your thoughts on that?
Emotional connection is a great subject because I think that James Gunn has plenty of emotionality in his movies, but I think that a lot of it rings hollow because it's very cheap. He likes to kick the dog, so to speak,
That literally.
Yeah, he likes to kick the dog. Well, that's pretty much the extent of it, really.
Yeah. I mean, Gunn. I want to say this. Gunn. He is he's not a bad writer. I'll say James Gunn's not a bad writer, and he does lean onto the emotional moments to try to force some kind of reaction from the audience instead of kind of allowing the story to kind of do it. And Guardians 2 is the best example ever. It wasn't a good film in my opinion, and he forced like a death at the end to say, "Oh, this is so emotional." If people even remember watching that. So
yes.
It's like that's what Gunn done. Like you said, kicking a dog. You see in the Supergirl trailer, Crypto, is he going to be okay?
Yeah.
And so it is kind of cheap.
So like someone can make you angry by like telling a story and then subverting your expectations or touching on something like sensitive, right? Or someone can make you angry for like slapping you, right? There are different kinds of things. I would say in the same way, Gunn, you can make someone sad by telling someone a sad story, but you can make someone sad by like kicking a dog, and that's kind of like James Gunn's emotional abilities is kind of like a slap, if you will. It's like an instinct kind of thing. It doesn't really, and the problem with that is that when you go away, when you look away, when you're not thinking about it, you forget about it. It doesn't stick with you. It's like you can only really feel something when you're watching it.
Let me give you more reasons to follow the homie Sil for the latest news, scoops, and moves he's about to reveal. From coffee talks to special brews, Hamada burgers for meals, a cup of bourbon with that tea that's about to get spilled. Like, what's the latest word? Yo, Sil, we need to know. Tell us what you heard. Yo, Sil, we need to know the ins and outs. Who's walking out, buying in? We need to know your thoughts on what's new, what you do to stream a hell of a show. Let's go. Take out your pen and paper, sit down and take notes. Sil is the realest among imposters, scavenging cutthroats. So, what's the latest word? Yo, Sil, we need to know. Tell us what you heard. Yo, Sil, we need to know the ins and outs. Who's walking out, buying in? We need to know your thoughts on what's new, what you do to stream a hell of a show. Let's go. One hell of a show. Let's go. Between DC and Marvel, they both have a startle. Disney's moving finicky, let's not mention Star Wars. All these movie execs be drunk off that power, disconnected from the fans in the ivory towers. What's the latest word? Yo, Sil, we need to know. Tell us what you heard, yo, still, we need to know the ins and outs, who's walking out, buying in. We need to know your thoughts on what's new, what you do to stream a hell of a show. Let's go. When they keep making the same mistake, that's what you call insanity. They can't even acknowledge their self-inflicted calamity. What's the latest word, yo, still, we need to know. Tell us what you heard, yo, still, we need to know the ins and outs, who's walking out, buying in. We need to know your thoughts on what's new, what you do to stream a hell of a show. Let's go. One hell of a show, let's go. Scoop Senator, Coffee Talks, also covering analytics, making his own reviews, cause it's always been the critics. They clout chasers, money driven, repeating the latest gimmick. Come over to Still Nation where true vision is given. Listen, what's the latest word, yo, still, we need to know. Tell us what you heard, yo, still, we need to know the ins and outs, who's walking out, buying in. We need to know your thoughts on what's new, what you do to stream a hell of a show. Let's go. Let's not forget Mikey's son, always special to the crew from day one when him and Sealed got together for special brew. What's the latest word, yo, still, we need to know. Tell us what you heard, yo, still, we need to know the ins and outs, who's walking out, buying in. We need to know your thoughts on what's new, what you do to stream a hell of a show. Let's go. One hell of a show, let's go. I guess I finish on this note. When the niggas go flip mode, they turn gremlins, I'm gizmo. Come from my people, my kinfolk. For them I ride for and kill for. With this pistol I'm skillful. Shit can really escalate till it all goes abysmal. What's the latest word, yo, still, we need to know. Tell us what you heard, yo, still, we need to know the ins and outs, who's walking out, buying in. We need to know your thoughts on what's new, what you do to stream a hell of a show. I'm a watchman, forever vigilant, steady watching and listening, disciplined, militant, killing these dudes that started visiting. What's the latest word, yo, still, we need to know. Tell us what you heard, yo, still, we need to know the ins and outs, who's walking out, buying in. We need to know your thoughts on what's new, what you do to stream a hell of a show. Let's go. One hell of a show, let's go.